Hey everybody, in this episode of Henno Goes to Meetings, I went and met with our fire chief, Craig Aberbach. Sorry if I butchered that. And I met with the assistant police chief, Dave Stellers. I learned a lot about our essential services. I learned about the fire department it was very informative. I was familiar with Ketchum's volunteer fire department setup, and Hailey is different. Hailey relies far more on volunteers and has less full-time staff. And most of the staff that is here is doing double duty. Not only, are you the assistant chief, but you're also the fire inspector or you're the compliance officer, that kind of thing. I got to see the station, got to see some numbers, learned, how many volunteers we have. And I learned primarily what I really wanted to learn about was our relationship with Wood River Fire and Rescue. There was a time, evidently, where those departments, both of Wood River Fire and Rescue covers a huge area. It's basically our entire valley, everything in the county and certain areas. They have a lot of full-time staff. Their primary thing is to provide emergency medical services for the county. I want to say that was like $1 million contract. It's big. But they have 3 stations, and one of the stations is in downtown Hailey. And the way things were in the past, you literally have a house on fire in front of Wood River Fire Rescue, and they're not going to go do anything about it. There was no agreement there. There was no administration. And unfortunately, administration is the key term here, because who pays the bills is important here. We now have a joint powers agreement, and that joint powers agreement created a board where we, just like the Friedman Airport, our local airport, you have members of the county commissioners, you have Hailey City Council members. They've come together to form I take that back. I'm sorry. There's Wood River Fire and Rescue has its own board of directors. Apologize for that. They have members from that district board, our city council. They've come together and created a new board that oversees this joint powers agreement and the financials of this. And it is allowed now for Hailey and Wood River Fire and Rescue to share apparatus, to go on calls together, literally in the, one of our firefighters would be in their ambulance, depending on coverage and who was out doing what, or they would go, it was really neat. Or we've had a firefighter in one of their ambulances with one of their personnel. And everything gets worked out. And this is the step towards, this is consolidation happening. The only way you can get more consolidated would be like the airport, where you have the county and the city, both are control the airport, and it's all one facility. If Wood River Fire and Rescue and the Hailey Fire Department had a single facility, like, maybe the old Blaine Manor, if the county would let that happen, then it'd be a true consolidation. As it is, there's 40, somewhere between 40 and 45 volunteers between the two organizations. The crossover is in around 13 when it's all said and done. For a volunteer level, it's small, but their assistant, there's crossover at the chief's level, at the like Craig is the assistant chief over there, and vice versa, and all that kind of stuff. So, got a tour of the facility, saw some of the equipment, heard about the way some of the things used to be, and how they're not like that anymore, with apparatus being not certified because it was so old that it couldn't even be inspected any longer. All of that is a thing of the past. The turnouts that they wear, good quality new, not ancient and threadbare. It's really great to see. It sounds like Hailey really supports our essential services, which brings me to the police department, which has now been moved to the National Guard Armory. I didn't get a tour of that, but I did get to talk to the assistant assistant police chief about the new facility and how the room has helped them not only with evidence storage, because certain types of evidence has to be separated, but also for dealing with personnel. They used to be in a tiny little office in City Hall, and if someone needs, if there's a hot discussion going on with the employees, everyone can hear it. And now there's some privacy, and that's important. They also have a big bay to have vehicles, because I know this might sound shocking, but some people like to vandalize police vehicles. I know. It's who knew? Who knew? This way, at least, if for some reason a police vehicle had a window broken out, at least they have a secure place that they can put the vehicle now inside their big shop. I also got to see there's a lot of full-time police officers, and it's a big budget. If I remember correctly, it's $1.5 million. It's a pretty big chunk of money. Our library is $500,000. And most of that is in both cases is salaries and benefits and all that kind of stuff. I learned about that we have two officers that are at schools, the high school and the middle school, and then they're freed up in the summertime. Which is great about that is it's paid for by the school district, but then Hailey gets them for the summertime to use as auxiliary personnel. At any rate, the details there aren't as important as the fact that I wanted to get a feel for why, what do the Hailey police officers feel about being our police force versus like Ketchum and Ketchum, who's the sheriff now runs everything. And I learned a little bit about how it used to be the sheriff's office and the police officers didn't quite get along so well, and dispatch was run by the sheriff's office, and that eventually was that's no longer the case now. I think it's county that is running that, but just to become familiar with another department, both those departments. So I think I got streets next and water and sewer departments. It's been really fun getting to learn everybody and creating some relationships that I know I'll benefit from in the future. So thanks for watching. Bye.